Hi, welcome to JCTV and welcome to this episode of X-PATZ, real people discussing their real experiences with regards to no longer living in the place of their birth for whatever reasons. You're going to find out on this show. If you have also left your country of birth through whatever reason or circumstance and you are now living in a different place, we want to hear from you. For those who are thinking about making that decision, I hope this program helps you in making the right decision for your life. Enjoy today's show.
I am from England and I'm now living in Kyoto, Japan. I moved to Kyoto because I wanted a simpler life. I had lived in Tokyo previously for about 3 years, two of which were in coronavirus. So it was a bit of a strange experience. I had a lot of fun. It was really great, but I feel like I didn't really get the full Tokyo experience in some ways. So upon moving back to England after COVID, I had a really great time in Manchester, where I was living near my grandparents. I was really involved with the LGBTQ plus scene, making music and performing. It was really good fun. But ultimately, things in the country and my own personal health, things were not really going the way I was hoping for. Systems were just kind of falling apart, and as you guys probably know, it's not like the easiest place to live right now. So I had the opportunity to move back to Kyoto, and I do see it now as a opportunity, although it wasn't really what I thought I was going to do at the time. So anyway, upon moving back to Kyoto, it's been wonderful. I've been able to work on my health much more physically and mentally. I've got 3 beautiful guinea pigs who just make my life so wonderful. I've got this lovely house, and it's been a real positive change for me. So I moved here for a simpler life, and I got that. So I'm very blessed. The challenges I faced from making that decision to move, I think whenever you move country, there are always going to be challenges. Like, it's so hard because you have to uproot your entire life and move. Like, you can't, you take nothing with you. You don't get to take your friends, your family. All you have is your life experience and yourself. For me, the challenges were more physical. I had one bag that I could bring to Japan. I think I had like one big suitcase and a little small luggage, and that was like the extent of what I could bring. So I had to basically get rid of all of my music gear. I was making my album, I was finishing up my album at the time, and I had gotten rid of my MIDI piano, so I was like using the keyboard on my actual computer, like just using that as a piano. So that was really tough doing that, but it was kind of minimalist. Like, it was really interesting experience in hindsight. There are more obvious challenges as well, like language barriers, which aren't always the easiest thing, the cultural differences, but ultimately I do feel like this is a culture that I do fit into a lot, in a lot of ways. So I'm really grateful for that. And the language is just an ongoing process. If you're going to live somewhere where they don't speak your native language, it just comes with it, and it's a challenge, but you just kind of have to face it head on. I think the most difficult thing I faced, it's definitely more of like a personal thing rather than a general moving country thing. But I have struggled with chronic pain since I was about 12, and it's been getting worse and worse throughout the years. And you can hear a lot about that on my new album, Butterfly, and how I have managed it, the feelings behind it, and ultimately like going through the process of starting to overcome it. And although it's still something that is still very present in my life, moving to Japan has given me the opportunity to find more answers. In the UK at the moment, there's a lot of issues with the healthcare system. There's like a lack of funding, there's the lack of staff, there's really big waiting lists. It's a really difficult situation for anybody who is just trying to get appointments, and also there is a big problem with staff gaslighting people. I was made to believe that I was making up my pain, or they told me that I was. Basically, they just would try and give me pills, and I know pills work for some people and that's totally valid, but that is not my experience. So moving to Japan, the healthcare system is much more, it's a private healthcare system, so you pay into it monthly and then you end up getting 70% of your healthcare discounted when you go see a doctor for the most part. And so for me, that's been amazing, being able to go into a service and they actually take you seriously. They give you what you want. I'm actually about to go for an X-ray and MRI to really try and get to the bottom of what was going on. When I was in England, I was told that I wouldn't be able to get an MRI because I didn't have like a specific injury that I can remember, so they can't put me through for one, which in hindsight is just a load of rubbish, in my opinion. So on top of that, I've been able to have Chinese medicine, not in the healthcare, but it's been very accessible. I've been able to get physio with the healthcare. I've been able to also get an osteopath, not with the healthcare, but it's been very accessible and very easy. There's no waiting lists. So for me, the biggest struggle has been resilience with chronic pain while moving country, and being able to overcome that by having such a competent and well organized healthcare system has just been so healing and such a great experience. The benefits of making the decision to move to Japan are so big, and I feel like I find new things every day. I think for me, this sense of peace that I feel being here in Japan, I love the untouched nature here. I love the people, especially. I love that I'm really close to Osaka, which is a really fun city, and I just have to catch a train for like less than an hour and I'm there. The convenience of the travel, the healthcare, the food is great. Like, there are so many benefits to living in Japan. I think as a foreigner, like, there's definitely challenges that I don't think you face in other countries as a foreigner, because Japan is like an island and it was very closed off from the rest of the world for a long time. But I think because of that as well, there are a lot of real positives to moving to Japan. So if you want to move to Japan, I think it's a great thing to do. My most fun experiences living in Japan, there are so many, but if I have to pick a few, of course, going to Disneyland and Disney Sea, that has just, I love Disney, so that was just amazing. The few times that I've been there, I think I've been 3 or 4 times. I loved it every single time. Also, hiking. I love hiking here in Kyoto. I go hiking quite frequently nowadays, and the views are stunning. The nature is crazy. I saw a huge snake last time I was on a hike, so you know, the nature's pretty incredible. The trees are just gorgeous. I would also say just going out with friends is really fun. Parties in Japan are really good fun. Like, they're very different to English parties. They're much more civil. It's more about like making food together and enjoying drinks around a table, or going out to karaoke, that kind of thing. And I really love that. I love English parties as well, of course, but Japan is just, it's so different, and I really enjoy that.
That sounds amazing. What has this whole experience taught you?
This whole experience has taught me so many things. It's really hard to just say it's taught me this in like a few sentences, but I will say, because I've been on such a healing journey as well, it's taught me resilience. It's taught me that things don't last forever, for better and for worse. It's taught me to really enjoy the present, because things change, and change is the only constant in life. When you move country, I think you realize that when you say goodbye to the people that you love, and you let go of like situations that are really great, but also situations that no longer serve you, and you physically take yourself away from that by moving country, it really teaches you that you only have those moments, and you actually end up appreciating the present much more. And when you move country, that kind of middle section of when you're preparing to leave and you're getting ready to go, downgrading all of your stuff, downsizing all of your stuff, it really teaches you to just be resilient, and to know that it's not gonna be forever. You can just keep holding on, be strong, and then when you get there, just enjoy everything. Even the boring and mundane stuff, like you never know when you're gonna look back and be like, that was really special. So yeah. This whole experience has taught me so many things. It's really hard to just say it's taught me this in like a few sentences, but I will say, because I've been on such a healing journey as well, it's taught me resilience. It's taught me that things don't last forever, for better and for worse. It's taught me to really enjoy the present, because things change, and change is the only constant in life. When you move country, I think you realize that when you say goodbye to the people that you love, and you let go of like situations that are really great, but also situations that no longer serve you, and you physically take yourself away from that by moving country, it really teaches you that you only have those moments, and you actually end up appreciating the present much more. And when you move country, that kind of middle section of when you're preparing to leave and you're getting ready to go, downgrading all of your stuff, downsizing all of your stuff, it really teaches you to just be resilient, and to know that it's not gonna be forever. You can just keep holding on, be strong, and then when you get there, just enjoy everything. Even the boring and mundane stuff, like you never know when you're gonna look back and be like, that was really special. So yeah. This experience has changed me, because now, I just said this, but it has made me much more resilient. I have had to learn that people pleasing doesn't help anybody, even the people that you're people pleasing to, because at the end of the day, you are giving a false sense of yourself. And when you move country, the people around you will say many different things and have many different opinions, and at the end of the day, you have to do what's right for yourself. I have, the few times that I have moved country, moving back to Japan, or moving to Japan the first time, moving back to England and moving back, every experience has taught me something new. But this time around, it's really taught me that I have to live for myself, not for the sake of making my family proud, or making people like me, or all these things that they matter to a degree. Like, I think it's important to have grace when it comes to moving country. You don't want to hurt the people around you, but at the end of the day, like, you're doing it for yourself, and it is your life, and you are the one that's going to experience that country, and you're the one that's going to have all of these new experiences. So do it for yourself and choose yourself every time. The next question was, do I have any regrets? And I think the answer to that is no. I moved to England, and I had probably like the worst 2 years of my life, if I'm being honest. It was really hard. In some ways it was really great, like the performances, the photo shoots, the gigs, the people, especially being around my grandparents, which was wonderful. But shortly after moving back to Japan, my dear grandfather passed away, and he had a really long life, and I'm really grateful that I could get to be with him for the last 2 years of his life. And I often thought, when I was in England and when I was deciding to move back to Japan, like, why did this happen to me? Like, what is the lesson? Because I truly believe there's a lesson in everything. I think there's no coincidences. I think there is a reason for everything, and that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm a very spiritual person. But I thought, I regret this. I came back to the UK, and I've just been really ill, and I can't get any help, and things are just going to shit. I don't know if I can say that. Things are going down the pot. And now I know, if anything, the reason I moved back to the UK in the first place was so that I could be with my granddad for the last 2 years of his life. And so I don't regret anything. And I think sometimes you need space away from these things to see that. And Kyoto gave me that. I've had so much space and so much fresh energy and so many new perspectives that I don't see how I could regret anything. I would 100% recommend moving country to anybody, whether it's Japan, whether it's Mexico, or anywhere. Like, I think what I will say though is I didn't do this, but I think you should look into the country that you're moving to, because I think every culture is not everyone's cup of tea. I know some people who have thrived in Japan. I know some people who have just completely sank in Japan. And I think it really depends on where you move. Places like Tokyo are so fast-paced. It's a crazy place. It's wonderful. I love it. And especially when I was in my early 20s and I moved there, it was so amazing. I'd never lived in such a wild city before. And living in Kyoto is completely different. It's so peaceful and it's just such a tranquil, serene life. And so I would recommend moving country to everybody just for the experience. But I would also say, like, just do your research as well. If you're under 30, many places have the working holiday visa, which is a brilliant visa for anybody who wants to just dip their toes into a new culture and stay there for like a year max, I think, and some of them do 6 months, I believe. But I would really recommend like doing something like that, or going on like a JET program. Many people do that, or the TEFL, teaching English as a foreign language. If you speak English, which I'm assuming you do if you are watching this video, then there are so many teaching opportunities in all countries that have English as a second language from my experience. So yeah, just try it, and yeah, don't live to regret it. That's what I would say. My best experience is really hard to decide, I'm struggling with this question, to be honest. There are so many great experiences that have happened for me in Japan, and I honestly, I love the peacefulness of this life. I would say the best things about this life are the things that I have created for myself. You know, like making the friends that I've made, having the guinea pigs. They just make me laugh every single day because they're just like so weird and so funny. And they're so cute. I find a lot of joy just in my daily life, just whether that's, I don't know, just like hanging out in my tatami room, making music, going out to izakayas, which are like Japanese bars, going out drinking and catching trains to see beautiful mountains everywhere. Like there's so much joy in just daily life. It's really hard to say like my best experience. I would say the best experiences are, it sounds so cheesy, but it's so true. The best experiences are the little things that I've gone through that make up this umbrella that I'm living. You know, as I have said, like my life before when I was living in the UK was very hard, and it's just been such a big improvement that I wake up every day with so much gratitude. I will say that being here with my husband is probably the best thing about living in Japan. We were separated for a little bit when we had to like sort visas out. I think we were apart for like 3 months, and I haven't really said this ever, but like that was really tough for us, and so being able to be together has been my priority. And now we've been together again for like nearly 9 months living here in Japan, and we're just coming up to our 4th year anniversary this month, so I feel very blessed. The advice I would give to anybody considering moving to another country is just to do it. Firstly, don't consider it, just do it. That's what I did the first time. I just decided and then I went. So like that was great because it meant that I had no nerves. Maybe that won't work for anybody, for everybody, but that's what worked for me. It just, I didn't think about it until it like happened, and then I was like, oh, I've done this. Okay. But on a more maybe less kind of fluffy note, I would say learn about the culture, learn some of the language as well, especially places where they're not speaking English. Like it's so vital that you just try and live like a local a little bit, learn the language and learn the cultural aspects. So for example, in Japan, you walk a lot. Get yourself some good walking shoes. You must always be very careful about the people around you. Be considerate. You know, it's not like in the UK where you can just have loud conversations on the train and bus. Like if you do that in Japan, people will just stare at you and judge you, and it's actually really annoying because it's a very quiet culture, and so everybody is quiet on public transport. People are just kind of keeping to themselves or having very low volume conversations. So if if you're just like a foreigner on holiday and you don't know that and you're just talking really loud, it's actually considered very inconsiderate. So things like that, it's important to make sure that you know what you're getting into to a degree, and make sure that you agree with it as well. Like you don't want to go somewhere and then be like, oh, I don't like this at all, this is not who I am, this is not something that I can fit into, because that's just going to be really hard for you. You're going to be isolated anyway if you're going by yourself, so you want to be able to, you want to feel as part of it as possible. And yeah, I think that's probably the best advice I can give you.
Thank you so much for watching and joining me on X-PATZ. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I hope you'll come back and check out the next episode soon too. And don't forget, while you're on JCTV, there are other amazing shows. There's the J-Files if you're into paranormal experiences. There's the show if you want to meet some wonderful and talented and lovely and creative people. And there's also music around by me and my history of music and singing and songwriting. So enjoy. Take a couple of hours out and go through the videos, have a look, check it out, enjoy yourself. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like, to hit the tinkly bell button, and to tell all your friends to do the same. I will see you on the next episode of X-PATZ. Take care.